All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mohammad Ranish, a senior executive of Tensors. So, in today's session, we'll be having Varun Awasthi, who will be talking about chemical engineering department in general and specifically about chemical engineering department in IIT Madras. So, to talk more on chemical engineering department, I'll be handing it over to Varun. Varun, you can take.
Thank you. So hello again. To introduce myself, I'm Varun Avasthi. I'm a fourth year undergraduate student at IIT Madras, and I will be graduating in 2023. I'm doing a BTech plus MTech degree at IIT Madras. Now let me present my screen. Is this visible?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so let's go. Chemical engineering at IIT Madras. So one of the biggest misconceptions that people have, let's just get that out of the way, is that chemical engineering is chemistry. There's a lot of chemistry involved. You'll be doing a lot of chemistry as the things that you did in plus two chemistry. But no, it's not just chemistry. Chemical engineering is a mix of chemistry, maths, biology, physics, and economics. All of these come together and give chemical engineering. When it comes to learning chemical engineering, chemistry is not at all the major thing that we learn. It's mostly physics and maths. Physics and maths is mostly where the focus is when it comes to learning chemical engineering. Now, okay, so what is chemical engineering? Let's just define that. When you're doing something in a lab, you're doing chemistry. So what do you do in a lab? You have a test tube, and your objective would be to make a very small quantity of a particular substance. Say you're saying that you want to produce 1 gram of a substance, and it takes about 15 minutes to do that, and it will cost you around 100 rupees. These are just representative numbers. This is nothing in particular. These are not actual numbers. This is just representative numbers right now. However, when you do it in the industry, you do not do it in such small quantities. You do everything in a larger scale. You want to create 10 kilograms of the substance. You want to produce 10,000 times more substance compared to what you are producing in the laboratory. It might take, say, 16 hours to do that, and it might take, say, 5 lakh rupees to actually carry out that entire thing. Now, shifting from a lab scale, shifting from a test tube to a giant 10 kiloliter reactor, that is not easy. It is not as easy as just now we were increasing our production by 10,000. We are increasing our production by 10,000 times. So shifting from chemistry to chemical engineering, shifting from lab scale to the reactor scale is not as easy as multiplying everything with just one number. There's a lot more that goes into it. So that is what chemical engineering is. We figure out what are these things that are required to do chemistry at a very large scale. So let's just talk about what fields there, what sort of future fields that one can see in chemical engineering. I do not want to go into course content at this point of time, so I just want to look at the end goals of what chemical engineering can do. So these are most of the fields that one can work in. So the first is energy and materials. So we're looking a lot at renewable energy, or even at fossil fuels. We are trying to see how we can improve our systems for fossil fuels. So we have research going on solar energy, the materials required for solar energy, semiconductors involved with that, and all of that stuff. Infrastructure which is required for processing biomass, say for just burning of biomass or for producing gases from biomass. And then there's this very interesting field of study called underground coal gasification, in which instead of mining coal, what we just do is we take huge deposits of coal and just convert everything to gas. So we don't need to dig down a mine and then mine out all the coal. We can just create that into gas, and it's easier to transport gas than to transport coal. Next, we have the environment. We want to reduce emissions. We want to reduce sulfur dioxides and sulfur oxides and nitrogen oxides production overall. So that's there. And we also want to track what is happening to the pollutants once they are released to the environment, say by a lot of cars, or even say a large industry which is creating a lot of pollution, or in case there is some sort of a disaster, say as like happened in the Bhopal disaster, where a lot of methyl isocyanate was released into the atmosphere. So we want to track how the methyl isocyanate is going to spread and what sort of measures should be taken to avoid that, to avoid severe consequences. Next comes systems engineering. Now, systems engineering is a vast field. It includes a lot of things. Things vary from automation, there's stock market predictions, there are generic optimization. There's a lot of things that can be done under systems engineering. And there are special provisions to learn systems engineering in IIT Madras. There are a bunch of courses that one can do, and there's a systems engineering minor as well that a person can do. Next comes process intensification, which is taking anything that is already being done and doing that in a smaller, cleaner, safer, and more efficient way. So say you have a battery. Now you want to reduce the size of the battery, and you want to, say, get rid of the lithium in it, because lithium is harmful for the environment and it's unsafe as well. So working on that sort of problems is a process intensification problem. Next, you have molecular simulations, where you design new substances, say drugs or catalysts, all using computers. So rather than doing things inside the laboratory and doing intensive chemistry inside the laboratory, wasting a lot of money trying out different things, you just do it in the computer, and it's way cheaper than doing things in the laboratory. And last comes reaction engineering, where you make it all happen. You design a plant and you operate a plant safely, without any incidents, without any releases of harmful substances. So this is a summary of what one can do in chemical engineering. So next comes the types of industries that we have in chemical engineering. I've divided them into 4 parts. So the first is energy. You have oil and natural gas companies in this. We have Shell, we have Reliance, we have earlier known as British Petroleum, now called BP. We have ExxonMobil, we have Aramco. We have pharmaceutical companies. We have Pfizer, Cipla, Sun Pharma, AstraZeneca. These are just examples that I wrote over here. The ones in bold are the companies which specifically come to IIT Madras for placements or for interns. So Dr. Reddy's, Piramal, these come to IIT Madras for placements and interns. We have FMCG companies. FMCG stands for fast moving consumer goods. So ITC, P&G, Nestle, things like chocolates or food stuff, things like that. ITC, P&G, Nestle, Mondelez, Unilever, Amway, Wipro. And you have other stuff as well. You have beverage companies, paint companies, cement, steels, and plastics. So Vedanta, GSW, Tata Steel, TCS, AB InBev, which is a alcohol beverage company. So all these companies hire chemical engineers for. They have processes which involve chemical engineering, and they hire chemical engineers for that. Now, coming to the most important part, the numbers, the placement statistics at IIT Madras. So for chemical engineering core profiles, the placement offers range from 9 lakh per annum to 26 lakh per annum, just for core profiles. So these were open specifically for chemical engineers and a few other branches. And the mean was around 12 lakh per annum. And for overall chemical engineering placements, this is from 2021 placement. So the minimum package was 6 lakh per annum. The mean was 11.5 lakh per annum. The maximum package that a chemical engineer student got at IIT Madras was 37 lakh per annum. So yeah, that was it for my presentation. Again, I'm Varun Awasthi, fourth year undergraduate chemical engineering, and that's my contact number. Please feel free to contact me in case you have any questions. Or if you have any questions, I would be glad to answer them.
Okay, you can share it in the chat box you would ask. And Varun, could you emphasize a bit more on core and non-core placements? So many students are concerned about it, and also upon like the decision where like many of them might wanted to get computer science engineering and they have not gotten in IITs but got in NIT. So like should they choose IIT Madras? So those kind of doubts. Could you clear those?
Okay, so the scenario is a person can get either chemical engineering at IIT Madras or computer science at says some NIT, say NIT Warangal. Is that the scenario that we are looking at?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so in that case, it does come down to personal preference in terms of whether you really like computer science a lot more. But I would recommend going for an IIT because of the exposure and the entire experience that is involved with the 4 years. Not to mention that we also have a lot more research opportunities. IIT Madras is involved with a lot more research, and for overall development of character and resume, I would say that chemical engineering is better in that sense. Chemical engineering at IIT Madras is better in that sense.
Okay, so another question is, can a computer science student in class 11 and 12 take a biotech or biochemical?
Definitely. That is, biotech and biochemical have nothing to do with hardcore biology, just as I said that chemical engineering has nothing to do with doing a lot of chemistry. So it's entirely possible for a computer science student to take up biotech or biochemical. There's a lot of computer science stuff involved with everything these days. Even if you're doing chemical engineering or biotech engineering, it is likely that you will be doing a lot of programming at the end after all.
Yeah. Okay, so next question is Mech versus Chem. I think that is very subjective. I think a Chem student would say his branch is best and Mech would say so. Okay.
Yeah, that's a very subjective thing. I agree with that. So in my opinion, I feel that in chemical engineering, the core syllabus is easier. It covers it, as in it opens a lot more than Mech does, and I think the placement opportunities are better than Mech compared to, but like as in compared to the amount of effort that one has to put in Mech.
And also, what are the opportunities for higher studies one can get to work in nuclear energy?
Yes, one can get to work in nuclear energy. That is one option that I am personally seriously looking at. For example, working at nuclear energy. So, for working at NPCIL or DAE, Department of Atomic Energy, or any of the nuclear plants in India, we have to go through GATE for that. So you have to give GATE, and then based on your GATE scores, they will select people, and that's how one gets to work in that. And they will give you training and all of that stuff. So yes, and there are also courses involved with nuclear energy and atoms.
Okay, so another question is the chemistry that comes in chemical engineering. Okay, I think it is more of an
Okay, wait, I'll read this out. Chemistry that comes in chemical engineering is vapor pressures, fundamentals, yes. Organic chemistry, fundamentals of petrochemicals, yes. Reaction mechanics, fundamentals, yes, you're correct. If I don't understand fundamentals of petrochemicals and reactor design, should I stop? Not at all, because you'll learn all of this now. The entire point is you will learn thermodynamics, which includes vapor pressures. You'll learn basic chemistry, which also includes vapor pressures, and organic chemistry. And now, see, what happens is the chemistry is it's very specific for each and everything. It's very specific and it's very detailed for each and everything. So you learn the chemistry when you start doing something. So, for example, if you are finally working in a petrochemical industry, where you're working in a particular where you're working in a particular process, there you will learn the chemistry involved with it, because there's so much chemistry. It's not possible for one person to sit and learn everything. So that is not an issue at all. And again, you'll be learning all of this. If I like physics more, should I go for Mech or Chem? Depends. So both of them have a lot of fluid mechanics involved with them. Mechanical also has a lot of solid mechanics involved with it. So you can choose appropriately. Solid mechanics means things like Newton's laws of motion, but in steroids.
The next question is there any way chemical engineering can relate to aerospace engineering and research? I don't know. What does it?
I think so, yes. So chemical engineering also includes a lot of computational fluid dynamics, CFD. So if you would have seen some of those simulations which involve F1 car. So they would show how air moves along the F1 car. So the concepts involved in that are similar everywhere in either say modeling a rocket or modeling flow flow of water inside a pipe, which can also be done through CFD, or just say modeling a car. But aerospace engineering also involves a lot more things which are aerospace engineering is a very specialized branch, I would say. So it involves concepts from chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer science. So yeah, you'll have to seriously look at that concept.
Okay, so another question is, are the placements good in terms of number of students placed? I think he's referring to IIT Madras, so you can say it from the perspective of IIT Madras.
I'm not really sure about the placement statistics. Aman, do you know?
Yeah, about students getting placed at IIT Madras. Yeah, so about placements for chemical engineering students, not a lot of students, actually not a lot of, I mean, around 70 to 80% students actually go for placements, and there are a lot of students who go for higher studies directly or in research. So I'll say that if you're putting efforts for placement, then you'll definitely get one. It's just about how much serious you are about the placement process. In my experience, the seniors which I've seen, most of them got placements, who wanted to get a placement, and there were a lot who went for MBAs or MTech or any other research work. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Aman.
Okay, so I guess there are some interesting questions. Okay, so another is, okay, I see many chem alums in consulting compared to other branches. Is there any correlation? So, okay, so I guess
Okay, I
I
would like
think-
to take this question about
Sure.
consulting. Yeah, so chem alums being in consulting, if you'll see the statistics clearly, you'll find all types of people in consulting, from commerce colleges to from arts colleges as well as from engineering college, because consulting is a job in which core knowledge is not required. It just requires somebody with a good problem solving skills. So yeah, that's why consulting company do come to IITs for recruitment, because they get people who are very intelligent and people who can solve problems. That's why they come at IITs also for recruiting. But for an outsider, consulting will look like a MBA job, but the actual work which is in the consulting, it's basically problem solving. So yeah, I don't understand the statistics that many chem alums were in consulting, because from our institute you'll see it varies. It depends on person to person, like how many of them actually want to pursue chemical engineering. But yeah, in IIT Madras, a lot of people are enthusiastic about consulting. So if you are into consulting, I think IIT Madras will be a good option for you.
so
Yeah.
another question is, does core jobs also require the same knowledge, referring to in-depth concept in intermediate NCERT? I'm not sure what.
I'm not sure what that mean. What do you mean by
Yeah.
that question? But do core jobs require, as in, if you're thorough with whatever you have, so if you're thorough with whatever, say, the company does, and what sort of processes are involved in the type of work that they do, that's more than enough to land a job as such. But then when it actually comes to working in a core company, a lot of the knowledge that you learn is on site, as in when you are there, you learn a lot of things over there. So, which can't be, which you can't get from just reading books, I would say.
Yeah, adding to what Varun said, see, any company would not just blindly trust any new trainee and give a humongous task to him. So usually when you get recruited in any core company, it involves 1, 2, or even 3 years of training. So that's just working under some supervisor and then learning everything. Only after that, the company will trust you with their decisions. So uh, for getting the job, yes, core knowledge is required, but for working there, you will have enough resources to learn everything.
Thank you. Next question.
Okay, thank you, Aman. So another question is, instead of GATE, 5-year program is enough. Right. Okay, so he's talking
I
about
suppose, yeah, I suppose this has to do with the atomic energy stuff. But no, I think gate is important for that. You need to give gate for that.
yeah. And also, I guess the exit option is better through GATE. Like, okay, again, even if it is BTech, it is not that big of an issue. Like,
I don't think BTech plus MTech in chemical engineering is available anymore. It's just 4-year chemical engineering now, but it is, you can in your 3rd year choose to extend your BTech into an MTech. So you will have a 5-year program after that. BTech plus MTech 5-year. That is that option has been provided.
also, there are many questions regarding, can a chemical engineer be a software engineer or shift to
Yes,
software?
a chemical engineer can become a software engineer. Specifically, for example, the CFD stuff that I was talking about, entirely less. As a chemical engineer, you can be recruited into a software company which develops softwares for carrying out these types of simulations. So there is also this program in IIT Madras called IEEE, which stands for Interdisciplinary Dual Degree. In that, you can do, for example, that is what I am doing. I am doing a BTech in chemical engineering plus an MTech in computational engineering. So that is precisely what I'm going for. A chemical engineer who's also specializing in some amount of software and performing simulations or coding simulators myself. So yes, that is entirely possible.
Just wanted to clarify something here. A software engineer is a very vast area, as in like every branch has a different requirement for its software, and then there are some requirements which are actually not related to any branch, but in services it's required. So so for a chemical engineer, I think Varun, mostly it's fluid dynamics and
Yes.
maybe reaction engineering stuff in softwares.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, even coding a program to simulate a reactor comes under software engineering. So it's a very broad area of study. Without studying inorganic and organic chemistry class and properly, can one survive in chemical engineering? Definitely. You'll have more courses. You'll have a chemistry course which will sort of introduce you to some more chemistry, some basic chemistry, which is fine. And then later on also, there's a lot of physical chemistry which is involved with chemical engineering, not a lot of inorganic and organic. So you'll be completely fine.
Okay, I would clear all the doubts about having knowledge of this or that. The first year of any BTech degree in any IIT is designed in a way that it's a revision of your all 11th, 12th. Maybe not just 11th, 12th, actually it's from 9th to 12th knowledge. So you will repeat everything. In fact, the practicals also will be repeated inside IIT Madras. The same pendulum experiments, the same titration experiments you will be repeating in IIT Madras. So that was the lab part, and in the courses as well, you will be learning mechanics from scratch, the electrodynamics, electrostatics. I guess you all will be familiar with these topics. So yeah, basically it is a revision for you guys. The first year will be a revision, but designed in a way that helps you to become an engineer.
Yeah, in a slightly more applied way.
Okay, so next question, is chem engineering very rigorous? Can we make out free time for other activities?
Definitely. Chemical engineering students are one of the most involved students in other activities in IIT Madras, more than electrical or CS students. So mechanical and chemical students are the most involved in most things.
Okay,
Definitely.
so they're asking for the PPT. Do we get access to the PPT after the meeting?
Yeah,
So
sure, I'll send it off.
yeah, cool. So which non-circuitous branch is more preferable for someone who's more interested in non-core? Again, I think that is subjective and
Yeah,
it
like you
depends.
can you can be anywhere and you can do coding. As
Yeah,
in, you're not gonna learn coding specifically anywhere. But I would say that chemical engineering also has a lot of data science courses in general. So
yeah,
it might be worthwhile to look into chemical engineering for that. I mentioned it earlier, the systems engineering minor, which has a lot of chemical engineering courses in it. So yeah.
And engine placements, you will see people from even like people from metallurgy or engineering design getting placed in Microsoft and also in their respective core branches. So it totally depends on where your priority lies and how you have prepared for placements in the first 3-4 years. Yeah. How is the placement scenario for core and non-core? Varun,
I
can you
think
just go to the
we went through
previous
that.
slide?
There you go.
Yeah.
For core profiles, and this is overall chemical placements.
But if you want to know more, there is a placement website. You can go to IITM website also. And if you are on LinkedIn, you can search placement cell of IIT Madras. You will get exact details of how many people were placed in each type of industry. So it's a very huge brochure available online.
yeah. I guess that's it. Is there any more questions you guys can ask?
Yeah. More involved means that you don't get any free time. No, you do get a lot of free time. That's what I'm just saying.
See, people in IITs usually don't prefer to have free time. They usually like to have something in their hand. So, I mean, I'm sure when you will join IIT Madras, there will be a lot of things to do around here, and not just CAD stuff. Some non-academic stuff like doing some POR, position of responsibility. So yeah, those are fun stuff. And yeah, as I said earlier, nobody actually prefers having free time unless you want one.
As in, people are always doing something or the other.
Yeah.
May it be a CAD or non-CAD.
See, about this question, which branch is good at any IT? It's not about, it starts same everywhere. So it totally depends on that particular batch. I mean, everybody will have its own opinion. If you'll ask some non-core person, then he might not like the branch of that particular IT as much as a core enthusiastic guy. So being a branch good at any IIT, it really doesn't make any sense.
Yep, I agree with that.
Okay,
It
so
matters that the exposure that the university is providing to you does matter after all. So
okay, what is the percentage split of course time between lab and non-lab?
okay, so that is a difficult question to answer. That changes every semester. The most that you will have is you would be spending about 6 hours in the lab per week. That is the most that you would have in your third year. So your entire third year, 6 hours in the lab per week. And in other semesters, it might be around 3. Like it doesn't exceed 3 to 6 hours generally.
Yeah, and one more thing to add here, what you do in, let's say, X semester, the lab associated to that courses will be in X plus 1 semester. So basically, it's a good thing about this whole design that you actually never forget anything which you learned in chemical engineering because you revise everything again in the very next semester.
Also, IIT Madras Chemical Engineering has one of the most open curriculums in the sense that it allows you a lot of freedom to do other courses and try out other department courses. In that sense, it's a very open, free syllabus structure, which I haven't really seen anywhere else. Like it's very rigorous everywhere.
I think it's around 25%. You can design your own degree up to extent of 25%. 75% is what institute wants you to do. But yeah, almost everything else is your
And in that
choice.
75% too, you have choices in the chemical engineering courses that you want to do. You have a lot of choices in that as well.
Yeah. So I guess that was the last question. If there is any other doubt, you guys can ask. Okay, so like there's some questions like about BITS Pilani or IIT. I think IIT, from our perspective, it would definitely be IIT given the opportunities and the fee structure, everything on all aspects. I think Varun can also
Yeah,
have
I
opinion.
would go for I would go for an IIT then go for BITS Pilani CS.
Yeah, and
Yes.
there is nothing like lower branches. I mean, this term is not really
Yeah.
good. It's about choice of people, and yeah, there is a trend that people want to opt for people with best rank for CS and all. But I don't think that is how IIT sees all the branches. I mean, I have seen some. I mean, in IIT Madras, I really feel that chemical engineering and electrical has a dominance over any other branch in gen. This is a very not very formally speaking, just a general scenario like which is around IIT Madras.
Okay, so I observed the syllabus mostly same for IIT and NIT. How IIT differ?
I would say in terms of the freedom that you are given, the free choices of electives that you are given, IITs, I would presume, would offer a lot more electives than an NIT would.
Yeah, and also if you were planning to go for a master's, I think the letter of recommendations from the professors in IIT Madras would be much more valuable.
Yep.
Definitely. What about the fees? Is it affordable for an average family? Chad, I think you can look up the fees. The fees is based on the family income as well. So
Yep.
I think it shouldn't be a issue. It shouldn't be a major issue.
Yeah, there are fee waivers for different categories of income.
Yeah. So I would recommend that you look that up on your own. That is very available. If you just search IITM fees, you should be able to find it. Or IIT fees, you should be able to.
We can't
Um,
really comment on branch changes right now because that's an administration's decision. So, but I think they will announce it before counseling whether they are allowing branch changes this year or not.
Yeah.
yeah, most probably there won't be because it is online session. Most probably it will be an online session this year also. So IIT Madras might choose not to have a branch change this year.
Yep.
Is there any number of seats restrictions on IEEE data science?
Yes, it is capped at around 60 or 70, I guess.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's on merit basis.
Yeah, it's on a merit basis. So the CG cutoff for that also goes about 8.7 or 8.6 generally.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, I guess then
Okay, Kushal
we can-
asked one question, 3 hours
Okay,
per
yeah.
day will be enough.
It's
People-
nobody. Yeah,
yeah.
people don't generally allot their work as 3 hours per day. It's mostly.
It depends on the deadlines.
It depends on the deadlines. Yes, so it's mostly
Yeah.
all day during the deadline. That's how it works. And then after the deadlines, like you don't work at all. That is how generally people work as. But if you are really looking at hours per day, if you are looking at how IIT Madras specifies that, so in IIT Madras, you take everywhere. In fact, you take courses based on their credits. So in a semester, you are doing a certain number of credits. So say you might be doing around 56 credits in a semester. 56 credits means that you're supposed to spend 56 into 50 minutes amount of time working per week. So that's there. That is the allocation. So you can do the math on your own. So the amount of credits that you have taken, generally between 50 and 60, multiplied by 50 minutes is the amount of effort that you're supposed to put in. Are there any restrictions on choosing MTech course in third year? As in, you can take an MTech in either one of the IEEEs. There are a lot of IEEEs.
Yeah. So I think your CGPA
Computational, energy systems, complex systems, robotics. Yeah, all of that is based on CGPA. And Yeah, and you can get an MTech in your core branch, as in a chemical engineer can get it in a BTech chemical engineering can get it in MTech chemical engineering, and that's about it.
And yeah, your rank stops mattering. Okay, maybe in allotment, but your rank stops mattering once you get into college. It is about how much time you make out of how much time you make out of the free time you get and the extra courses or work that you put into.
Yeah, like once
Now,
you use your rank, you use up your rank once you get into college, and that's it. Like your rank doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You've used it up.
If you have 7,000, and can we have a chance to get a course at 5,000 rank? These can't be answered because we don't know the current JOSA allotment process, or maybe the IITs might have increased their seats. So it all depends. Hopefully,
But in general, the rank allotment doesn't move much year to year, as in.
yeah. But
I
last year, I
think-
guess there was a 10% increase in the number of seats, but not sure.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, I would say it's unlikely that at 7,000 rank you'll be able to get something at 5,000. I think it's unlikely.
Yeah. I guess that's it. We can wind up our session.
One more question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
One more question. Yeah, you informed during the discussion, you told that the band switching. Could you please elaborate a little bit more?
Okay, I'll first talk about branch change. So there was this system of getting a chance to change your branch after first semester in IIT Madras. This was until 2020. But after that, IIT Madras removed that system, and this branch change was based on merit. So if you have a really good CG, you can apply for branch change. Anyone can apply for branch change. But now that system has been removed, and last year there was no branch changing allowed. So, and for this year, it totally depends on admin, the administration of IIT Madras. So they'll release an official statement whether they are allowing this year or not.
Okay. Thanks for it.
All right. I guess that's it for the session. I think there are no more questions. So thank you, Varun. Thank you, Aman, for joining the session. Making it wonderful.
Thank you for
event.
having us.
Yeah. And thank you everyone for joining the session. Stay tuned for other department webinars. We'll be sharing it in our group soon. Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks.